SpeedGaming 5, and welcome to week 2 of Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 4. As this week's winding down, we find ourselves at a matchup between Artie Walsh and Roland Tankier. They are, I believe, in Skullwoods Division. As you can see, Roomies has 9 points, which corresponds to an undefeated record of 3-0. Auch nicht is in exactly the opposite situation, winless record 0-3. I'm sure Walsh is trying to keep his team undefeated. Rollins trying to keep to put his team on the board. I'm Drossi. We will be underway in 1 moment here. Putting the FAD keys description in chat for those of you who might not be familiar with the mode. Basically, castle tower keys are annoying to try to find, so we made them findable. Everything else is the same as regular all dungeons key sanity, so they will have to collect 7 crystals, 3 pendants, and beat Aghanim twice before they can face Ganon. And here we go. Getting a pod small in Sanctuary. Now there are 6 of those, and logically the game wants you to find all 6 of them before you can beat Helma King. In reality, you can play it fast and loose, but the more the better, certainly, when it comes to pod keys. We see that our Tier 1 tree pull is just green rupees today, not gonna try that again. Rollin learns the same thing. Uncle is giving live organ donations today. Rollin almost gets that bush crab going long enough to give its second prize. Fun fact, if you can get it to spit out 7 rewards before disappearing, the 7th reward will be something different, but he only got 6 rewards from it. So one interesting thing about this matchup is the previous matchup between these two teams was blazing fast. Plasma Kappa for Tile Roomies won it with a time of 1:31 and change, and Divisigns for Oops was only a couple minutes behind at 1:34. If we're lucky, maybe we'll see another match that fast. Bombs in the Thieves' Hideout is nice to find, so we'll have them for CAC. But apart from the pod key, we haven't really found anything for the tracker. Oh, see, chat, I hadn't even put it together. We have Samus and a Metroid, so very appropriate pairing of sprites today. So both of our runners going into Blind's Hut now. Arrows, Map of Ice Palace. Hook shot, that's nice. Small shield, not so nice. And our first big key for ice. So interesting, we got a map and a big key for ice. And a hook shot, which lets us traverse the dungeon pretty well, so I wonder if we'll be seeing an early ice play. There's a GT small. Not essential, but nice to have. Map of Swamp. Now, we probably won't see runners make map checks for a while, both... Oh, there's Kane, okay. And flippers. That's one item on the way to putting ice in logic. Yeah, we probably won't see too many map checks, both because we first need to get maps as we pull the ice rod from Bottle Vendor. Not going to have an ice rod hunt today. But also, if you do have a map, when you enter the dungeon, now with the latest release, there will be a little letter C or P next to your magic bar to tell you whether this is a crystal or a pendant. We find our first sword in the back of tavern, so Kakariko's paying off pretty well today. Walsh buys some more bombs just to be safe. Rollin is out of bombs, so this could come into play for the race game if there's something useful on it. Speaking of useful, there's a Moon Pearl on the library, so I guess we're finding early boots today. Wonder if they're on the race game. Well, that's a small key, but Rollin is forced to save and quit because he has no bombs. Walsh will probably be grabbing that small key. Especially this early in the game, you don't want to leave any small keys. You never know what they might be for. We will need at least 3 Turtle Rock smalls, hard required. Swamp small. Theoretically, you could do pod on 2 smalls, but we want to full clear the dungeon, and that's easiest if you at least get 5 out of 6. And then you have things like Desert Small, Harris Small, Thieves Small that lock a couple of chests. Oh, second pod small, there we go. Oh, and Ron is going into Hyrule Castle. The only chest here that's in logic is going to be this first chest that would normally be the map chest in vanilla. Because Key Sanity logic assumes that you steal the key from the guard here and use it in the sewers, even though the sewers are out of logic without a fire source. Nice ice rod strats on that guard. But if you stole that key, you'd need to find the sewers key before you could proceed further into the front of escape. And there's a flute sitting flooded. Might not play too well if there's still water in it. So what are we finding here out of logic? A vanilla bloomerang. There we go. And Mini Moldorm Cave has the Meyer Big Key. We're definitely going to need that, as well as the Mushroom, which we may or may not need. Skullwood's Big Key, which does all of giving us the Skullwood's Big Chest, may or may not be important. It'll be a while before we find out. Looks like Walsh is going to go activate his flute, which certainly makes sense. Much easier for getting around the map this way. Could be our Death Mountain access. That might be a good next play because we have the hook shot, so we can't get to the Hera area, but we can get to East Death Mountain, which has 8 checks. And Rollin is going to get his flute here. So Walsh did not go all the way to Ice Rod Cave, though having activated the flute, he can just flute to 8 at any time and check it. Which is probably why he didn't go all the way there. Oh, we're getting an immediate mushroom turn in, okay. I can get behind that. So now we're going to check Ice Rod Cave, then collect whatever the witch made with the mushroom. And then we will presumably be off to Death Mountain. Unless he really wants to do a desert area check. And there's our red meringue, so boomerang for each runner. And I am totally not anticipating anything Walsh is doing because he's actually fake flippering here. Oh no, not fake flippering, real flippering. We are right, we got those flippers in Kakariko. So what's on Lake Hylia Island? A small key. Probably going to want to check that at some point. Rollin activating his flute. We'll see if he does the same stuff as Walsh here. I'm a bit intrigued that he'd follow the flippers before he follows the flute. But that does give us our first bottle, which does open up Sick Kid. Are we going to see a flute to 3 now, just to get Sick Kid out of the way? Why, yes, no, we're getting the mushroom first. Just a bit of money, though. And is Rollin in the back of Escape? Guess he really wants to see what's at Dark Cross. Oh, he fluted to Mountain and came in from the backside to get the old man. Makes sense. And another big key, this time for TR. Turns out TR is the green pendant. But again, this is all dungeons. We will have to clear it regardless. Yet another key on Spec Rock that we can't get without the mirror. Vanilla Piece of Heart inside Spec Rock. Walsh is going into Eastern. Only 3 checks in Logic without a bow or a big key or a lamp. 4th check out of Logic if you do Dark Rooms. But I like Rollin's play better here, but we'll see whose pays off. Realizing he only has 1 bomb left, so he's going to open up this store and buy more bombs, which he barely has enough money for. And there's our glove, so indeed there was progression on Death Mountain. Glove not really opening anything at the moment, but it's a third of our Dark World access equation. And we know another third is behind the boots. Well, there's the sewers key, which is interesting because with a fire source, that puts... well, I guess Darkcross is in logic with the fire source regardless, and Back of Escape is now available with the glove as Roland takes an unfortunate death. Let's hope for his sake there's nothing in Spiral Cave. So yes, I guess... Right, what did we get in the front of Escape that we needed the sewers key to put in logic? Bloomerang and Skullwood's big key? Okay, they're now in logic. And there are Titan's mitts and the boots, so there's our Dark World access. Mountain was definitely the right play, as Walsh comes up pretty empty-handed in Eastern. And Walsh still doesn't want to go to the mountain. Oh, he wasn't able to afford the Ice Rod before, that makes sense, and now he'll check Sick Kid. As we find a Quake Medallion in King's Tomb. Sick Kid just giving us a little finder's fee for that bottle. So... Oh, and 2 boots locked medallions. Interesting. Might not even need to find Ether, depending what locks Meyer and Turtle Rock. And... yes, that actually... Chat's remarking, we do now have Ice Palace access as soon as we pick up this Moon Pearl in the library. Only partial access, need the hammer to get all the way through. And now Rollins going back to get that small key, which I believe was Pod. As Walsh is finally on the mountain, he's probably going to wish he came here sooner. He's probably going to assume that Rollin did come here sooner. And Rollin decides to go back to the mountain. Now that he has access to Dark Death Mountain, it makes a bit more sense. Could enter Turtle Rock if we were... No, we don't have the hammer. Scratch that. But we will see what medallion we need for TR as part of this. Just a bug net on the floating island. Okay. Oh, that's a swamp small. That was an important thing to go back for. Can't get into swamp yet without the mirror, but once we do, at least we can get past the first chest. Though we'd need a hammer to get past the second chest. If you like good coordinated sprite choices, during the main tournament there was a race of Relkin versus 1-Up, Mario versus Bowser, and those were both their regular sprites too. Well, there's Zora money sitting in Super Bunny Cave. And we get to fully clear out Hookshot Cave. Don't think we'll be coming back here for that bug net. Hey, fifth heart. That is our third pod key. That is a Skull Wood small. Logically, you need all three for Moth, and practice doesn't really matter. Thieves small is nice to see because it reduces the likelihood that you'll have to orphan the big chest. Though again, you also need the hammer to get the big chest, so if we went into Thieves Town right now, we would still be orphaning it. Okay, Walsh is gonna do his boots checks and get his medallions. Rollin is going to get his second boomerang. Little does he know. So Rollin's going to the edge there to charge a water walk, but he stepped a bit too far. And Rollin also sees the unknown small key on Lake Hylia Island. Looks like Walsh is now checking Lumberjack, which I believe Rollin checked at the outset and we discovered it wasn't anything. So barring, like, Hammer in Pyramid Fairy, we don't know what the 5-6 crystals are yet. We're probably putting Aga off until the end. And Walsh is going to give us our first look, not Walsh, Rollin is going to give us our first look at the Zora area. We have plenty of money, so we will be collecting 4 items here. Oh, and Walsh forgot to actually get the Moon Pearl. He was like, I can totally see the chain of reasoning that must have gone through his head. He remembered the Pearl was on the library, so boots were his Dark World access, so he got the boots and figured, oh, I have Dark World access. I did not catch what was on Zora Ledge there, but I guess we'll see if Rollin goes around for it. Oh, it was a big key. Okay. He is going around for it, I'm sure. Zora himself gives us a life lesson today. Don't trust fish who ask for 500 bucks. And there's the book, so that's desert access. Can't get to either of the tablets yet. And yes, we now have the Thieves' Town big. So we have the big keys for the last 5 dungeons, but none of the first 5. I think maybe in the next April Fool's special, they should festive. They should have Zora just charge $350. So Walsh does not have the big key to Thieves, so he can just do the front. Rollin can do the whole thing except that the big chest is hammerlocked. So Walsh is indeed taking a death warp here. Oh, I was thinking for the meme value, you'd have to make it 350 and people would just have to get the joke. So let's see how Rollin chooses to approach Thieves' Town, knowing that he'd have to orphan the big chest. He is opening it. And meanwhile, Walsh is on the dig game here. So do you go to blind, get the crystal, and say basically, if there's anything in the big chest, I'm never coming back for it and I'm screwed? It's also the case that you could get, like, hammer on blind. So Walsh is already checking Smith Chain here. Makes reasonable sense. We don't have the hammer, so all he can do in this direction is Hype Cave and check Bomb Shop to find out what the 5/6 crystals are. And then you pretty much have to save and quit. And he's not even checking Bomb Shop. See, I'd check Bomb Shop to find out if we even have to worry about the hammer being inside the pyramid. Hey, Master Sword, Hype Cave actually has something today. And Hera Small, not what you really want to see, but we don't have a fire source and we can't get to Hera anyway. Okay, what's our first chest in the back of Thieves here? Just some arrows. So I'd give that maybe a 3 out of 10 for hype, just because of the Master Sword being really nice at this point in the game. I do kind of wonder if there's something in the ice big chest. That would be a horrible place for the hammer, but it feels entirely possible right now. Would be a total galaxy brain strat, though. And we find another Skullwood Small in Blind's chest. Okay, nothing doing in desert. At least for the moment. Rollins nicely on script so far with blind. And perfect scripted fight. So now where do you go? Walsh was obviously checking out Dark Death Mountain, which Rollins already been to. Rollin will presumably go down and do Hype Cave. I mean, do you swim over to Pod? Do you do front of Skullwoods? Heck, do you check Mire area? We'll probably go back and collect the Smith. Yeah, so we're seeing these runners retrace each other's footsteps, which is, of course, a good time to remind you to give them a follow. Oh, and thank you, chat. I totally missed that. We found out that TR is Bombos, so once we get a hammer, we can enter. Okay, and Rollin is checking 5-6 crystals, so we might be able to rule out any sort of early Aga play. Yeah, Pod and Thieves, okay. So we got one of our 5-6. Oh, and we see that Skullwoods and Swamp are regular crystals there, as is Ice. So that's a lot of crystals in the Dark World. Though we also know that TR is a green pendant. So since Pod is locked by the hammer can't be in Pyramid Fairy, so we know that we won't have to climb Castle Tower until the very end. Though sometimes in Fad Keys, if runners get a bit stuck, you'll see them do Castle Tower just to give themselves a few minutes to think. So it's always there if you need it for that. Oh, right. I was wondering why Walsh didn't open the Skullwoods big chest, then I remembered that he never did the front of Escape. Rollin going into Desert, we know he won't find anything there. A little surprised he did Desert before Mire. We could finish Mire right now if we have the medallion for it. Yeah, Roland, you don't have a small key there. You could steal the small key from the back, but then you'd need a small key to do landmos. So nothing in Aegina either. I can't remember whether Walsh checked that. But we are going to see a catfish check here. Ooh, tempered, nice. And now we're finally getting the Meyer play. And there we've got Walsh's Twitch fixed. So, oh, but Roland decides he doesn't want to go into Meyer despite having what he needs to beat it. Is he waiting to get more powerful here? Like, I realize he doesn't have a bow, and Master Sword Vitreous with no invincibility items isn't the greatest. We gonna see a purple chest play now? Or is he gonna go to Skullwoods? Walsh, meanwhile, is opening up Pod here. Now we have 3 Pod Smalls. That does put the back area in logic, which is to say Compass Chest and Rupee Basement. And we get a blue mail for our troubles. So for Rollins' trouble avoiding Meyer, he got a small key, which does help a bit with the routing. Though I guess you still don't have a fire source, so we wouldn't be able to do Firelocked side of Meyer, so maybe he's waiting for a fire source. Oh, and to respond to chat, yes, that's a common trick. You can hook through spikes, and there are certain hacks of the game that actually require you to hook through spikes to solve puzzles. Okay, nothing on Bolocked side of Pod. So now where to check Bumper Ledge? I don't know if Walsh checked bumper ledge. There's another TR small, or I guess our first TR small. Just a heart container on bumper ledge. Oh, there's a pod small in pod. How surprising. So key-wise, Rupee Basement's in logic. Of course, without a fire source, it's not actually in logic. And we find nothing of use anyway. Where is that pesky hammer? I'm wondering if Meyer is the answer. And there's another TR small, was that it in Harmless Hellway? Yeah, so 2 TR smalls in Meyer, which is, not Meyer, pod, which is interesting. There's a Cane of Burna in Dark Maze. Looks like we're gonna Death Warp from here. Not too hard with some Kodongo fire. Of course, Cane of Burna doesn't get us anything without the hammer because we can't get into the Spike Cave without the hammer. Though it does make Meyer play a little more attractive since, you know, Tempered Sword in Burna is better for fighting Vitreous than Master Sword and nothing. Yeah, so since Walsh just took a Death Warp, that has nothing, so I would expect a Save Scum. Yep. Gets his key back. And so now we have what we need small key-wise to get to Helma King. Of course, we still need a big key and a hammer and a bow. And now Walsh is going to do the front of escape. I don't think we ever did see Dark Cross, did we? So once again, runners retracing each other's footsteps, and I mean, not too many options left. Ice and Meyer are the major ones. I like Meyer better than Ice under the circumstances. We don't have a fire source for checking the left side of Meyer, but we don't have a hammer for checking quite a bit of Ice. So the only thing is, having found this blue mill and having a fair number of hearts, that's a fairly long Death Warp for Walsh, but it does mean that He is going to be checking Dark Cross. And just a piece of heart in Dark Cross. So where to for Walsh? I still like the Meyer play. But we are getting the ice play. Okay, we'll see if this gets us anywhere. No? Oh, did he never do Zora? He never did Zora. See, this is always the tension between, like, do you go and do stuff that you've had available for a while, or do you push into places that you've recently gotten access to but can't complete? Well, we know what happens here. Zora gives us a ripoff, but we do collect a big key to Thieves Town, which may well send Walsh to the back of Thieves Town, though if so, we don't get to find out what's in the big chest. Oh. Rollin remembers he doesn't have a pod big key. To answer a question in chat, red dots are how we mark special crystals and pendants. So red dots on crystals mean they're the 5-6 crystals necessary to get the big bomb to open Pyramid Fairy, and red dot on a pendant means it's the green pendant, which you can turn into Sahasrara for what would be the boots in vanilla. And Rollin gets his Cane of Burna, and he's just flat out. He's not gonna save Scum a key for checking the big key chest. Okay, Rollin, where are you off to? 6, 8, somewhere else? 5? He never did Eastern. He's going to have to Eastern, which we know has nothing. And Sahasrara's Closet. No one wants to do Meyer or Ice. So to beat Vitreous, you don't need any keys. The only logical use of Meyer keys beyond the first one is getting to Firelocked side, but we don't have a fire source, so the keys don't actually do anything for us. Someone tell these runners to check out Ice Palace and Meyer. I don't care which one does which, I just want to see what's in both. So besides my own curiosity, I mean, there's something to be said for going to places you've recently gotten access to. Now, in fairness, in Walsh's case, he just got the Thieves' Big, so he's hoping that leads to something. I mean, it'll give him a crystal. It'll give him a 5/6 crystal, though he doesn't know that yet. But it won't give him progression. But for Rollins' case, I'm not sure why you're doing Sphere 1 checks at this point when you have places like Eisenmeyer in Logic that are in deeper spheres and at this point are much more likely to have your progression. So, blind down. Both of our runners have exhausted following each other's footsteps. What do you do now? The purple chest, just so you don't have to go to Meyer or Ice? That's a flute to 8. Guess we're gonna see Ice now. Now, Walsh, since he's in Village of Outcast, probably is gonna grab the purple chest. He has to save and quit anyway. He doesn't have the mirror, so might as well get purple chest, turn it in. Could always be mirror in purple chest. Okay, well, that makes Ice a much more attractive play now. So, purple chest was the answer for all that. Ice does have GT big, but Rollins going to be turned away before he can finish this. Walsh will be doing a full clear. And depending where the mirror is, it might well be mandatory to do that purple chest without the mirror. Now, the other thing is, because of the key situation, Rollin is forced to go across this way. He's not even bothering with the Ice Palace bomb jump because he can't get to Cold Stare without the hammer. But the next room after where Walsh is now, there's a small key that you need the hammer to pick up. Oh, well, there's also a small key in the big key chest. So Rollin would have been fine, but he doesn't know that, and otherwise he would have gotten stuck here because he can't grab this small key that Walsh just grabbed if he had done Icebreaker. And that is a cape. We know Bumper doesn't have anything. It's useful. I mean, we already have spike access because we have Burna, so cape's just a nice to have. And what Where are we gonna find an iced tea room? And soon we will get our second boss battle of the game. We're at nearly an hour in, and we're only now going to be beating our second boss. And with having found that one small key, Cold Stare is fully in logic with the Cane of Samaria, as Walsh is using it right now. Now, where's Rollin going? Is he going to do Meyer now? Meyer's probably more attractive than Purple Chest, let's be real. Very nice job by Walsh boxing Cold Stare into the corner there. And that's another pod small. So we are still missing a fire source. We're still missing the mirror. And we're still missing an awful lot of big keys. I guess we don't need the Swamp Big, and Hera Big isn't mandatory since we have the hook shot and can Hera Pot. Well, there's our Desert Small. That'll give us 2 more checks. As we're probably going to get a high 5 in Meyer. Of course, the problem for Rowan is the more he opens up with things like the Desert Small, the longer it'll take him to do Purple Chest. Ooh, and that's unfortunate. We're going to need to circle all the way around to respawn that bridge. And all just for some bombs. There's Swamp Big, one of the bigs we didn't especially need. Butter Sword. Nice easy Vitreous fight. Yeah, you do need that, and I guess he's just gonna hook shot over to check the bridge chest. Oh, did Rollin skip the bridge chest altogether? I'm just looking at his compass count. Skipping the bridge chest is an interesting call. We'll find out from Walsh if he skipped anything important. Oh. So Rollin is skipping all the wrong checks at the moment. Thank you, chat, for pointing out that Walsh did the bridge chest and got an Eastern Big Key, which, again, is absolutely required. So that's two hard required items that R.D. Walsh is now ahead of Rollin Tankir. Rollin taking advantage of the fact that the stun prize is a heart to buff up his health a little bit before Vitreous. We do have a cape, we do have a butter sword. This should be relatively easy. We're just gonna have to play ping pong with the big eyeball because we have no bow. He does it just like with wooden arrows. And we get a small key to Meyer. But that tells us Meyer is a crystal. So all of the Dark World dungeons are crystals, except for Turtle Rock is the green pendant. So we know the Light World dungeons are red and blue pendants and one crystal. And Rollin does realize he forgot the bridge, so he's going back in. At least he'll get his key, but it is an unfortunate time loss. Oh, and did you see small eyeballs on R.D. Walsh's side? I didn't. Now you have to wonder if there's a vanilla bow in Eastern. But I think we're probably going to check right side desert first. Now, what's Walsh going to do? He has the hammer, so there's an awful lot more he can do. He actually has Hera access, though you have to take the long way around for it. Did Walsh not do Meyer Shed? Or did he realize, hey, wait a minute, I don't have the mirror? I think he probably forgot he didn't have the mirror. Oh, and there's finally our fire source as we get the fire rod on right side desert. So, on the one hand, that desert small was our progression. On the other hand, it's just going to take Rollin farther away from that hammer. And there's Walsh's fire rod, so needless to say, we're going to Skull Woods. But Walsh is actually one TR small away from being able to kill Trinex. So here's our first look at the back of Skullwoods. I'm guessing Walsh will be following. So, big question is, where the heck is that bow? There are two of them out there. We haven't found either. Ooh, and Rollin took long enough that, unfortunately, he let one of the torches go out and didn't have enough magic to do it again, so now he'll have to go all the way through, grab some magic in this room. That's just enough, though he does have magic refills here. Don't spend too long fighting those Gibdos. Should be good now. Now, fun fact, in the vanilla game, the Butter Sword will not damage Mothula because it has the same damage as Spike Tiles, and Spike Tiles don't damage Mothula because, well, otherwise you'd be kind of trivial. So in the randomizer, the brilliant devs have hacked it and made the Butter Sword do Bacon Sword damage. And in the time it took me to explain that, we have Moth down with a big key to Pod. Without the bow, that big key gets us exactly the big chest. And now going back in for the bridge chest here, which could also be something. Small key to Meyer. I mean, I guess that puts left side Meyer fully in logic. We now have all three smalls and a fire source. And Rollin is running out of stuff. At some point, he's going to be forced to do purple chest, but unless he finds some really out-of-the-way progression in the process, this is just time that Walsh is going to be building a lead. Oh, we should also note one thing regarding Turtle Rock. Since it is a pendant, it is conceivable that the two remaining small keys are both in GT. This has happened before. Okay, we're going to get a Spike Cave check here from Walsh. And left side Meyer gives us our third bottle with a bee in it. And just some arrows in Spike Cave. Yes, chat remarking about Rollin living up to his team name. Oops, da war es auch nicht means, oops, it wasn't there either. So yes, key-wise, the only things that are hard required are Desert Big and one more TR Small. Item-wise, of course, we still need to find a bow in the mirror. This could be Rollins' purple chest play. If so, he won't have lost too much time, but still a little bit behind. Getting our first tablet check, and Ether is the lamp. Okay. Useful to have. Especially for, like, Pod Basement and Aga Tower. Rollin will probably be kicking himself here, because then he'll have to go back into ice to finish it. Nothing in Hera so far. Oh, we are doing the Hera basement check. Interesting. And yeah, Rollin's going to finish up Ice Palace here. While Walsh... This is interesting because I would think that you'd want to first climb Hera and see if you can find progression there. And maybe take the risk that, okay, if I found progression on the Hera climb, I'm just going to assume that's what I needed to come to Hera for and that the basement doesn't have anything. That's our final pod small. Logically required, but didn't really need it. And Walsh's Death Warp is upset by the fact that he still had a fairy. I mean, fairies are very nice to have, except when you're trying to Death Warp. Now Rollin will feel a little silly when he sees this Ice Palace small and could have come through here, but at least now he has the hammer and can just do everything. But by that point, Walsh will be a Death Mountain climb and Tower of Hera ahead. So what next for Walsh if Moldorm doesn't have progression? I guess go into TR while you're up here? Moldorm goes down pretty easy to the gold sword. Half magic is nice, but it's not progression. And that's a blue pendant. So we now know that Eastern must be our final crystal. And it does look like Walsh is doing the TR play as Rollin Tankir takes down Cold Stare. So that's Rollin's fourth crystal, Walsh's at 4 crystals plus a pendant. And I have to guess Rollins going to the mountain now. Yep, he's gonna climb, so he's basically a Heraclear and a TR opening behind Walsh. But he could save himself some time by not doing the basement. The game wants you to. The game thinks you logically have to. That's why it gave us the Hera Small, but, you know, given how both of these runners have routed pod, they don't need the final key. There's our bow, okay. So we just need Mirror, Desert Big, and one more TR Small. Okay, Rollins setting up the Herapot here, so he may be skipping the basement. Having trouble, there we go. So Walsh will presumably steal the Pokey Key here so that he can get to Laser Bridge. Laser Bridge is not in logic unless you have 3 small keys. Unless the missing small key is in Lava Chest, but Lava Chest isn't in logic unless you have all 4 small keys. Logic is a very weird thing. It's just like both left side and right side GT, Rando Room and Compass Room require all 4 small keys to be in logic, but the back, Ice Armos, only requires 3 small keys to be in logic. And Rollin gets down Troll Dorm. And he is unfortunately going to go back in and not be able to make up time because he's now taking his coffee break. Walsh, on the other hand, is almost at Laser Bridge. So I think your next play has to be Eastern here. You have the bow, you can do the rest of Eastern. There's our Hera Big. Do you want to go back for the big chest while you're still on the mountain? So it's interesting. That means that Moldorm was logically locked by 3 Turtle Rock small keys. Oh, that's true. Yes, thank you, chat. Right. you can't readily get out of Turtle Rock without the mirror, because with the mirror, you can just go out the exit from Laser Bridge mirror and drop down. But yeah, without the mirror, I forgot about that. It's unusual to not have the mirror this far in. Wait, speaking of, why is Walsh doing pod before Eastern? Does he forget he doesn't have the mirror? No, he's intentionally going right into pod there. He's going into pod for one check, though. He's basically counting on... You know, I think it's more likely there's progression in... Oh, wait a minute, where was the... Oh, right, he has the pod big key, I forgot. I lost track of big keys, Desert versus pod. So yes, we have the pod big key, he can beat the boss now. I was thinking he still didn't have the pod big, that's why I was confused. So, yes, pod has 2 items, Eastern has 2 items. Now I'm not questioning, I just... Don't mind me, I'm confused. Also, this is Pyramid Fairy access for Walsh. And what's Helma got here? A shield. So I guess now the question is, do you go back in for big chest, since you're gonna have to save and quit afterwards anyway? Probably. And Rollin here will be picking up his bow. And of course, continuing to do the rest of the dungeon all the way to Laser Bridge, I'm sure. And just a heart container. So, time for Eastern. Yeah, just to confirm what chat's talking about, Wall scummed a key for the big key chest. It was just a map, so no need to save that item. And what's in the eastern big chest? Desert big, mirror, or junk? So what do we have if Armos Knights doesn't give us anything? There's Pyramid Fairy, though Walsh doesn't know that at the same time. He'll have 6 crystals, so he'll assume Pyramid Fairy is likely in logic. There is also Hammer Pegs. To answer chat, we kind of need Mirror to get into Swamp. And Swamp is our 7th crystal, so we're not getting into GT without Mirror either. And so in the time it took Rollin to full clear everything on Death Mountain that he could, R.D. Walsh has completed 2 more dungeons. And Rollin really having issues with those lasers, too. Okay, so he is fluting to 4. He's probably going to check the bomb shop, discover there is a big red bomb in it, and we'll get 2 more checks. So I think here or Hammer Pegs has to have either the Mirror or the Desert Big. And we hope it's the Desert Big because then that only opens up 2 locations and one of them has to have the Mirror. Okay, let's see what Hammer Pegs has. Right, so I'm sure if you're in R.D. Walsh's situation, you want the Mirror to be your go mode because it opens up a lot more than the Desert Big key does. So Walsh is now going back in and doing the Firelocked side of Meyer, which we know doesn't have anything. That'll let Rollin Tankir make up some time, because this was one of the places he wasted some time while he was looking for Hammer, so now Walsh is giving it back. So we have seen Skullwood's big chest on Rollin's side, though Walsh doesn't know that. But yes, I guess we do have Thievestown big chest, much as I don't want to think about progression being there. So there's the Eastern Crystal. Walsh will still be ahead after doing the cutscene. I don't think Rollin can get to Helma King. That's a good 2.5 minutes, but it does definitely make this a closer race. Oh yeah, and our tracker Jinxie Girl reminding us that we do have that Hera Big Chest, which is gonna be a slog to get to because we still don't have a mirror, so we have to go the long way around. Though Hera Big Chest is technically out of logic without a third Turtle Rock Small. So it is possible that our next progression is a Turtle Rock Small. And it looks like Artie Walsh is going to do Hammer Pegs and maybe Thieves Big Chest. I mean, what else could he do, really? Oh, and Rollin, right, never checked the vanilla Big Key chest here. Unfortunately, without a mirror, Rollin is now going to have to go around. And Hammer Pegs gets us the mirror. So that Desert Big Key and that the remaining Turtle Rock Small Keys could be anywhere and are probably in Ganon's Tower just by item density probability. But hey, while you're running over to Swamp, might as well check Cave 45, which just has the Uncle Bombs. Wonder if he'll check Bombo's tablet as well for good measure. Jinxie Girl coming up with all the bad possibilities of what if it's Mimic Cave. No, Mimic Cave is in logic with 2 Turtle Rock Smalls. And there's our 3rd Turtle Rock Small, so Bombos was a good check. That does put Hera Big Chest in logic. It does mean that we can beat Trinex out of logic, so we are really just looking for that Desert Big Key. But that'll be nice because we can finish up Turtle Rock when we go to do GT after Swamp. So, one item from Go Mode, do you skip left side Swamp? Probably. By the way, we also, by finding the mirror, know that Pet is dead. So Rollin has now cleared out Pod, and it's a matter of him going to do the remaining checks. Not surprisingly, he's doing Pyramid Fairy first, because that's 2 right there. But we know that he'll need to go back to Village of Outcasts. Powder? That's interesting. Opens Magic Bat. GT small. Again, helps with routing a bit. And, the answer wasn't in Swamp, unless it's on the left side, which is fairly unlikely, so time to climb the mountain again. And here is Rollins' mirror. So if you're Rollin, you've got to be feeling behind because of that hammer hunt. Do you start skipping things to try to catch up? Or do you do something like left side swamp, hoping that your opponent skipped it? Okay, so you pretty much have to check Mimic Cave now since it's on your way more or less. And then onward to Trinex. And then what do you do? Full clear GT basement, because that's by far the most item-dense location left? Yeah, Rollins... I was gonna say left side swamp is Rollins' biggest out. I also just realized he skipped Cave 45, didn't he? So he's still short a TR small. It's likely that the final TR small is in GT basement, and if he goes to the tower afterwards, he'll find it. But still, that doesn't help his routing. He won't be able to do TR on the way to GT like Walsh is. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Jinxie. It was Bombos, not K45. I knew it was one of those two mirror checks. And, Walsh skipped Mimic Cave, didn't he? I'm trying to watch two runners and there's one of me. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but yeah, he did skip Mimic Cave. That's interesting. So... yeah, if Desert Big Key is in GT Basement, I don't see how RD Walsh doesn't win this. If it's somewhere else, Rollin could have an out. Yeah, so just to go through our bad options, there's Checkerboard Cave, there's Mimic Cave, there's Thieves Big Chest, there's Hera Big Chest, there's Green Pendant Turn-In, which is technically out of logic without the fourth Turtle Rock Small. Oh yes, and of course Left Side Swamp. Well, there's our final Turtle Rock Small, so if Rollin goes to GT right after this, he will be okay other than a little worse routing. That also puts the Green Pendant in logic. Oh yes, and it also puts Lava Chest in logic. Probably if you full clear GT Basement and don't find Desert Big, your next stops are going to be Hera Big Chest and Mimic Cave and Lava Chest while you're still on the mountain. Oh, and Rollin Tonkier does get his third third Turtle Rock Small, as RD Walsh wins the Bottle Percent game and also finds the Arrow of Destiny. Nice use of Ether on the Stalfos there. The one still gets a bone off anyway, while having its own bones broken through freezing. Hey, there are silvers. Red Meringue got a bit out of control there. Okay, let's see how Rollin routes this. Is he going to go into Mimic Cave? Shovel! So now we have two fetch quests down below that we can check. Right, we haven't seen Magic Bat yet either. And Rollin also skips Mimic Cave. Which, again, the problem with all this is he's just following in Walsh's footsteps and he's never going to catch up. If your opponent's ahead of you and you're following in your opponent's footsteps, unless your execution is dramatically better, and these two runners have fairly comparable execution, you're not going to catch up. At least we get the silvers before Ice Armos, laggy though they be. So, Rollin taking down Trinex as Walsh does Tile Room. Exciting Tile Room. And the Desert Big Key is not in Ganon's Tower basement. R.D. Walsh is not doing the climb yet. He'll definitely do Harrow Big Chest. Will he go back into Turtle Rock and do Lava Chest and Mimic Cave as well? GT Small, okay. So both teams have been living up to their names. The Tile Roomies did Tile Room, and Oops, Tavares auch nicht was discovering not their progression in a lot of places. And Walsh is doing the climb. And Rollin is doing Tile Room early. This will save him a very small amount of time on routing, assuming he full clears the basement. I'm just a bit surprised that this is the play he does from feeling behind rather than, say, Mimic Cave. This is also probably one of those races where you're kind of glancing at the race time room and wondering, is my opponent going to finish any moment now? So, Walsh on a bit low health here, but if he can get through the gauntlet, he can start powdering Bunny Beams and Anti-Fairies. And he's not even going to bother. Landmos is easy with the Silver Arrows here. Of course, Walsh makes it look even easier than it actually is. There, Rollins silvers. At least once we finally make it to Ganon, it'll be a nice fast fight. Well, that's a heck of a place to get a full heart refill by a fourth heart piece. Well, it looks like the answer is not going to be in GT unless it happens to be in Moldorm's last possession. Nope, Moldorm's last possession is vanilla. And as Rollentank here is almost done with the basement, is he going to once again do the exact same routing as R.D. Walsh? Whoa, that was kind of a nice damage boost off the mini helmet to get over the gap there. You don't see that too often. So now you probably do Agate Tower just because you're there and you want to get it out of the way so that when you finally do finish everything, you can just save and quit to Pyramid. Oh, and Rowland is climbing straight away. Okay. That'll help him make up a little bit of time. Yes, the lesson about doing Agate Tower right after GT so that you can then save and quit to Pyramid later and have Agate Tower out of the way is an important one because last week these same Tile Roomies had a race against the Bomb Squad, and I was discussing with Adirondack Rick, and he noted the time difference. It basically cost the Bomb Squad the race because he had gone to finish Pendant Mire first after doing GT and then didn't have like a free save and quit back, and so he had to flute to 4 and walk all the way back to Castle Tower to finish it. Okay, so time to account for everything again that we haven't seen. There's Lava Chest, there's Mimic Cave, there's Thieves Town Big Chest, there's Green Pendant, there's Dig Spot, there's Magic Bat, there's Left Side Swamp, And I think that's everything. Oh, and checkerboard, right, thank you. Oh yes, I forgot to do blue ball prediction, so if any of you have guesses, I'm going with good old 2. This seed has been cruel enough. Oh, and Graveyard Ledge. We haven't seen Graveyard Ledge. That would be ugly. What are we on? 1 blue ball so far? Yeah, so that was 2 total. Okay, I was right. The one time the seed's being nice. Okay, this is, I guess, our Graveyard Ledge check. So, Rollins now on Agate Tower. Same deal. Dig spot wasn't anything. Where is it? Ah, green pendant turn in next, okay. And then flute to 3 and magic bat while we're doing easily flutable things, and then checkerboard cave. Not green pendant. It's probably Mimic Cave, let's just face it. Yes, there is also lava chest. I think checkerboard is our only remaining overworld check. Oh, and Walsh is going back now for lava chest and mimic cave. Yeah, maybe we should do a prediction about item counts. Because we full cleared GT. There we go, over under 200. And remember, there are certain things they didn't pick up, like the Desert Torch. So those don't count towards the collection rate. So here's Lava Chest. Just a heart container. Our 17th. The overside is definitely getting favored here. And Rollins now doing his overworld checks. Walsh is in Mimic Cave. Sword beams are not going to take down Gorias very quickly. Ooh, checkerboard, I don't think we saw that. And it's not Mimic Cave for all that. Could be a big out here for Rollin if it's checkerboard. Not checkerboard, and Walsh is heading to left side swamp. Jinxie, it can't be Hera because Walsh went back in there and checked the big chest. So it's, I guess, either left side swamp or Thieves Town big chest, because between these two runners we've seen everything else. And they could have done Smith Chain and gotten the hammer before doing Thieves Town, but given the order in which the items presented themselves, that would have been a very unusual call. And of course you were going to last location mirror, because having done the entire Smith Chain to purple chest, who would go back and do hammer pegs? So, heading to left side swamp. Moment of truth coming up. Unfortunately, I just don't see how Rollin wins this at this point, because even if it's Thieves Town big, I suppose Walsh could do checkerboard first, but, you know, it's going to take Rollin a while to finish Turtle Rock. Okay, left chest, left side. Piece of heart. Vanilla big key chest. There it is at just shy of 206. RD Walsh is in go mode. Okay, flute to 6, mirror directly to the back, do not pass go, do not collect $200. And yet again, left side swamp proves the ultimate troll location. I mean, one item from Go Mode, I can see skipping it. I'm a little bit more surprised Rollin Tankier didn't, because if you're metagaming a bit, you should be figuring, I last located the hammer. I'm probably behind. One item from Go Mode, Walsh is probably going to skip this. This is one of my outs, I should check it. Down go Landmos 1, 2, 3. And it does look like the Metroid will be beating Samus tonight. Yeah. I think Walsh was momentarily confused about what he wanted to do. You beat Aga, you can just save and quit to Pyramid and jump in. How surprising, a 1-1 with the Butter Sword. Cannon's one true weakness. Ooh, didn't quite get the torch glitch there, but no matter, just need 3 more hits, and here's a double. Oh, that was the triple. Okay, get your GGs in chat for RD Walsh, who will continue Tile Roomies' undefeated record this season. And he crosses with an official race time of 2:09:36. Which just goes to show that, these runners are at a level of play where they can full clear a seed in a little over 2 hours. So we have R.D. Walsh in the waiting room here. And we are joined by R.D. Walsh, GG.
Oh, thanks for the GG. That... Oh, God.
I mean, could it really have been anywhere other than Left Side Swamp?
I guess not. I mean, the only two checks I had left were Thieves Big and apparently Checkerboard, which I spaced out on, so good thing it wasn't Checkerboard.
Oh, I didn't realize you had spaced out. I thought you were just, for whatever reason, routing it unusually.
No, yeah, I didn't realize it either. Like, I only saw, like, Rollin in the desert area when I, like, turned on the restream, and it's like, oh, that's a check that exists. Oh, no. I mean, I wasn't gonna check Checkerboard before GT anyway. Like, I don't know. Like, you want to play safe, and you want to, like, not take risks, but... Yeah, skipping Left Side Swamp, you have one item to be dependent on, you have GT open. I don't know, like, I'm very comfortable making that skip, but, evidently it was incorrect.
Well, Rollin just pulled the mirror shield out of TT Big.
Oh, fantastic.
So at least that one didn't bite you. I mean, given the hammer location, that was when you really took the lead.
Yeah.
And since the seed was so long and such a blur, can you talk about when you decided to do the purple chest?
Yeah, like, so my plays that I had left at that point, because, like, I'd already cleared out a lot of the Dark World and, like, like, pretty much all the Light World that I had available. So, like, my plays at that point were, like, Hammerless Ice, Fireless Mire, and, like, doing these with with no hammer, like, once I got, like, these big from the Zora area. So it's like, okay, I already have the purple chest set up, so I'm just gonna, like, get these chests out of the way, and yeah, like, Thieves is dungeon, I can't full clear it, but I can at least beat it, and then I can just, like, pick up purple chests as, like, my, like, last out, like, that's kind of efficient, and yeah, it kind of ended up paying out. I was kind of figuring, like, the hammer was gonna loot him for a little bit, because, yeah, this is, yeah.
Though, of course, if one of you had done Left Side Swamp and the other hadn't, that would have been the seed right there, regardless of finding the hammer.
Right, yeah, one of those things with AD keys, like, that Desert Big Key's just, like, so high. Dumbest spot imaginable. But, yeah, like, I don't know, it makes sense that, like, both of us skip Left Side Swamp, like, it's slow, and I get that, like, everything else in the video game is slow, but, it's, I don't know, like I said, I'm okay making that skip.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying from your perspective, it's actually a bit more defensible because you didn't hard last locate the hammer. So
yeah.
For you, it's like, well, one item from go mode, yeah, it's only 2 checks. And you probably, I mean, I'm guessing you weren't feeling behind at that point, were you?
Not really. I didn't feel great. Just, like, get the mirror from Purple Chest, or get the, like, hammer from Purple Chest and get your mirror from Hammer Pegs. Great. So I didn't feel great, but, like, I figured that, like, even if Rowling got the, like, even if like Rollin got like the hammer pretty early, like it's just so hard to like go back for just the one check with hammer big, especially when like you have the Thieves Town's big chest there, which you'd like prefer not to double dip if you don't have to. Like I was contemplating still doing Thieves big like after the mirror, but it's like no, I have GT open, I can't really justify that. Like I just got a little bit aggressive in the late game, but yeah, like I didn't feel behind after I saw the mirror. I just felt like I just wanted to like get to GT as soon as possible. Like 27 chests, what are the odds that I'm only going to get a shovel and apparently also miss GT big? Hey, how's the fun?
Yeah, I guess the other thing then, in terms of you're going to GT, you skipped Mimic Cave when you were going to beat Trinex, which didn't have anything, but then you had to go back for it when you were looking for Desert Big Key.
Yeah, it just, like, at the time, like, it just felt like it was the better play to just, like, go for Trinex, and, I don't know, like, that's something that is definitely something that, like, I wish could take back, like, hindsight being 2020, because, like, you just do Mimic Cave, like, it was a lot slower to get to there from the, like, lava chest than I imagined it would be, but, yeah, you just do Mimic Cave, like, it's fine, like, it's, what, like, I don't actually know the time for Mimic Cave, but yeah, I probably should have done that. But again, like I was just like in you're gonna go to GT mode, so yeah.
And of course, chat was hoping that it was in lava chest once you turned up the final TR small key in Hope Room. But that's chat for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you had a lovely time with chat. Like, props to you for doing the solo commentary like last minute. Like, solo commentary is definitely rough, especially when you get siege where like both runners are just like checking stuff. Like,
I knew if I was signing up for solo commentary at the last minute, I was going to get punished by a horrible seed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like
not as punished as you guys were for actually having to race it, but still.
Yeah, like, oh man, I've been like seeing some of the times they're coming on race time, like, like there's a bunch of like 140s, 150s. Shout out to Kappa pulling in the 131. It's like, oh,
right, I mean, your teammates. Because even Divisign's losing time was about 134 in that race.
Yeah. Yeah, like you expect AD keys would like be a little bit slow, but I wasn't really expecting to 210 today.
Rollin Gear was probably not expecting 220.
Yeah, like it's just I don't know, like this is like the dumbest big key hunt I've had in a good long while. Fat keys, great mode.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least you didn't have to hunt for Castle Tower Smalls.
Yeah, and like brutal as it is, like I am happy to come away with the win because, like, looking big picture at the league, like, there's a lot of talented teams in our division, but like I think the next 2 weeks for us are going to be our toughest. Cascades with the spoilers and spoiler with Air 216. So yeah, we're really happy to like come away with this with 4 wins these first couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely nice to work up a buffer like that. And just so I don't know if you saw in chat just now, but I had a prediction going on whether your collection rate would be over or under 200. And some people made out pretty well because most people were betting on over 200.
Yeah, it felt like 200. Like, no, actually, like, how many, like, because, like, there's a bunch of chests that, like, I saw and didn't pick up, so it's probably, like, if I missed Checkerboard and GT Big, and I never went for Desert Big, and I never pulled Pedestal, sorry, chat, like, I'm at 210 checks seen easily, so I can forgive a guess of 200.
Yeah, so it was only 195 for all that. I mean, I guess there are that many visible items that were junk and that you didn't grab.
Yeah, like Lumberjack, I only saw probably like I don't think the Desert or GT torches had anything.
Right. It adds up. Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. So sorry I didn't pull 5 extra items, chat.
Well, I'm sure the people who won a lot of points aren't sorry.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
And Rollin here does take down Ganon here, so get your GGs in for him. Sticking this out just to see where the heck that big key was. And he finishes at 219.16. Not sure if he's going to join us or if he's just flat out exhausted. Okay, he is joining us. I said you could have joined us while you were still finishing on stream. GG's.
GG.
Yo, GG's, man.
No. Yes, no. This seed was just... No.
Yeah, you, last location, the hammer.
I actually didn't. As you maybe have noticed while you were interviewing Early Walsh, I did do Dark Cross at some point, near the end, which I could have done at the beginning.
Oh, I didn't realize you
had.
hadn't done Dark Cross. Okay. Yeah, I missed that while I was interviewing.
Yeah, that wasn't, and I forgot it or I blanked on it. I just didn't wanted to do the Death Warp when I was in Zelda Cell and hoped, okay, I can route that back in with the mirror maybe later. And yeah, then that didn't show up, the hammer didn't show up, and yeah, at some point it felt just like a whole big mess.
And hey, there was one piece of heart that you guys didn't grab, apparently. I see 23 for each of you.
Was there one in the open?
Probably.
So.
Right, you didn't get the bug net because it was on Floating Island.
Lumberjack had something, but that could have been hard container. We must
Oh, the hard container, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because, Ron, before you came in, we were discussing about how the collection rate was still under 200 in spite of everything.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's surprising how many items you can actually just look at and then leave behind, even if you full clear a seed. So I'm not surprised at not getting the 200s. Getting up there really, really is harder than you think at this competitive level, even with alternate key sanity. More likely if you have to hunt for Castle Tower small keys, because you can't actually distinguish Castle Tower small keys from GT small keys, which I at least skipped out on one of that I knew had to be lying around on either Spec Rock or Lake Hylia. Yeah. It's collection rates, getting it at 200 or higher is really something you have consciously due for, I'd say. I think the highest I got that I didn't intentionally collected more chests was 202. But it's really, really hard to get high.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we won't see any more seeds like this.
I can assure you my casual boot seed will be somewhere around this, not with that many keys, but it will probably be similar. And yeah,
I admire the courage of that statement, knowing that cross keys week exists.
I am fortunately not playing that one, so I can't tell about that there. So yeah.
Yeah.
If I were to play cross keys, I would easily get the 200 collection rate, because when I try playing cross keys, it's always ending like this. Although I always know where the fire rod is. I just have to follow the Skullwood's big key. Like, every time.
Good item to have a line on.
Well, I think we should probably wrap here, just because this has been so long.
I mean, you don't have for me at this point. I basically don't care about anything anymore, so...
I've been talking for 2.5 hours straight.
Yeah. Okay. That's an acceptable reason.
Actually, Walsh, I just realized, seeing, the crystals and everything, you never actually checked Bomb Shop to see where the 5-6 crystals were, did you? You just kind of walked in there.
I never do. I just assume that I'll find them eventually. I care about the green pendant info because that might tell me that tells me one dungeon where progression could be in GT. But the crystals, I just assume that they'll happen eventually, and I'll be able to see the red on my menu. Yeah, I don't know, it's 2 screens. That's too much.
Okay, I was just wondering about that because I was a little bit surprised. I was just like, well, he's at 6 crystals. He probably figures he likely has them by now.
Yeah, but again, thank you so much for the commentary, and shout out to Jinxie for tracking this mess. Yeah, it seemed like a fun time, and yeah, hopefully I'll find time to watch it. Yeah, and thank you, Rowland, for the race. Good luck to your team going forward.
Thanks to you too, but we will probably need it more.
Well, good luck to both of you going forward, and thanks for joining us today. And of course, huge shout outs to Jinxie Girl for doing all this tracking, making very full trackers right now. And that'll do it. We actually, what do we have? A race going on SpeedGaming 3 that just got underway, I think. Let me double check this. Okay, SpeedGaming 3 is in the middle. SpeedGaming 4 just got underway. So if you want more of this, check out SpeedGaming 4 now. We also have some open league races this evening on the ALTTPR League channels, so please do give them a follow as well, the ALTTPR League and the ALTTPR League 2 through 4. And other than that, we're about wrapping up FAD Keys week. We will have casual boots next week, as the runners were mentioning. Hopefully shorter seeds. But thanks for joining us today. I'm Drossi, and hope you have a great weekend all.